Welcome to a new market update. I'm Crypto Michael, and beneath here you can subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned. Yes, let's go. What happened yesterday? We saw a corrective move as the markets were crashing down, correcting. Depends on which time frame you're looking at, but for at least what I can see on social media, it felt like a crash for the people. Then they didn't experience the entire bear market. But as you can see on the chart, the market structure is still fine. Even if Bitcoin drops to 35k, the market structure is still fine as we are still making higher lows, higher highs. So it's very natural to have a corrective move. Usually those corrections are quite harsh. Markets move or crawl upwards, and then the corrections are just a very fast pace drop down, as that's just because of liquidations, etc. But there's no need to panic, and you should actually be using those dips to accumulate a bigger position into your altcoins and crypto, as there's still the big alt summer to happen. However, what's next for March? I think we can have some sideways boring period. Maybe some altcoins going left and right, as some have been doing well. Kusama, Serum, Solana, they have been doing well. But the real altcoin summer should be happening at like the end stage of March, and then crawling up towards the summer where everything is going to run. And usually people will call it an alt summer or alt season when it's already deep inside that alt season. So you want to start analyzing, you want to start accumulating your positions, so you are up front of those people that are claiming that it's an alt season when it's already running like 3, 5, 6x, whatever. So what do we see on the price chart here for Bitcoin? We can see that we have this entire correction. We have a very important support area to look at. But we can also see that during the previous corrective move, which was in January, we had a bounce up and then another drop down to claim support, which means that it's not unlikely that we're going to have a similar structure in the current price action. And then we have to look at what the price is saying here, in which I've been using this in the video yesterday already. What do we see on the lower time frames? We still saw this bearish divergence over here, in which we can see that this played out nicely. Since then we had a test of this entire support zone, wick through, that's an outlier, bounce up, rejection of the previous support for resistance, and immediately fell through. And given that it fell through, you can only watch the next support zones here, which is these two zones, as the next area of support, and we fell through that. Then next, if we zoom in some more, we said, okay, we have to do some more retesting here, make a bullish divergence, which happened, then a higher low, and we rallied back up towards the next areas of resistance. And given that we're currently running up, there are some points of resistance in which it's facing the first one right now, which is this entire block. And currently some people will probably already think that it's over with the correction and are FOMOing back into the market. So still we could overshoot as well. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. So what do we see on the markets? We do see this heavy drop down, but we also see that we've made a nice bounce back up. Are we done yet? I do not assume that we're done yet, because we can just have further corrective moves. Historically, March is not the best period for crypto in general or markets. So I do not believe that we're done, especially after such a harsh drop down, as on lower time frames the construction is bearish right now, while on higher time frames we are still doing fine. So what did we see in the previous run here as well, is that you bounce up, make another retest on lower levels, another rally, and then we start to fall down to test support again, have a boring period before we start to crawl up after that. So what's most likely going to happen in the current price is just a copy paste, is that we are facing resistance from here until like 52, maybe 52.5, then make a drop down, retest the 47.5 to 48.5 zone, then make another rally. Hopefully we get this trap towards 54, then have another drop down, take liquidity beneath the low around 37.5, and then we can start crawling up. And that is also the period where altcoins will start accelerating again. So corrections usually take some time, and because of that period of time that it takes, you can just start accumulating in your positions. However, you should be aware that corrections, or you could actually not be the exact dip buyer, or you could not be the bottom buyer. So if you want to start accumulating your positions and you have been doing it during the previous drop, and there is still one more drop down to occur, and you're slightly underwater on your position, you are still doing well, as you have been deriving your entry points based on historical price action. So what's next for altcoins? We have been discussing Ethereum, and Ethereum has some FUD right now, especially given the gas fees. We are in need of 2.0. I think it will do well. I think Ethereum will still be big. But we have been constructing the level that we have here, in which we said this is the area that we should be watching if we want to have any momentum at all. And currently we are facing support there. We have been saying that actually since here. We are facing support here. Most likely we get a slight bounce up, retest, and then we start to crawl back up. So these two zones that we have on Ethereum here, this one between 0.29 to 0.32, and this zone here around 0.26, are levels that I'm heavily interested in for Ethereum in general. Then finally, what is next for altcoins in general? I've made this overview for Chainlink a while ago already. We are still in accumulation period. I'm still assuming that we get such a compression in which we have an accumulation period, and the actual party for Chainlink is going to happen when it breaks through 75k to 80k, and then we can start accelerating again. So you can see that the Bitcoin pairs of altcoins are still on a rock bottom, so the real party still has to come. For now, everything is fine. You know what's most likely going to happen on Bitcoin. Sit tight, enjoy the nice weather that's outside here. Start making a plan for your positions. Enjoy life, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.